Yeah, so how's it, I guess I guess thinking ahead a little bit, you got Michigan next week. Following week, you got Rutgers at home, and then you finish the season at Michigan State, who just got beat by Purdue in a major upset, 40-29. Purdue fans storming the field as they should. Some other Big Ten action today. You had Ohio State in a struggle with Nebraska, beat them 26-17. I watched some of this. I also listened to some of it in the car as I was running errands, and had a kind of a similar ending to Penn State's game at Ohio State last year. It's a 6-point game. Nebraska was hanging around, and then Ohio State, just towards the very end, they kicked a field goal to make it a 2-score game and effectively ice it. So interesting. Illinois, as you said, best team in the Big Ten West. They go into Minneapolis and knock out the 20th ranked Golden Gophers 14-6. So they can find a way to win 2 more games. Brett Bielema will be going in his first year there, which was frankly not something anyone really saw at the beginning of the season. Wisconsin absolutely rolling future opponent Rutgers 52-3 in Piscataway. That will be interesting to see, how much fight Rutgers has when they come to town in a couple of weeks. And right now you got Indiana, Michigan going on, and Iowa, Northwestern. Iowa's up 7-0 on Northwestern, almost the end of the first quarter as we're recording this. In Indiana, Michigan, the score was tied, but it's only about 6 minutes into the game. So there's your Big Ten action for you. Marty, let's go back to the rest of the schedule. Actually, this kind of leans into the question we got from one of our earlier. Can we hang with Michigan State? Marty, I'll let you take that question first.
I mean, I think honestly, a lot of it's just going to depend on what version of Penn State do we get. If it's the Penn State from the first, 5.5 games of the year, the Penn State from Ohio State, the Penn State to finish this game today, absolutely. They're more than capable of hanging with those teams and beating them. If we get the Penn State that we saw against Illinois, or the second half against Iowa, or that him-hawed around for large portions of today's game, and even with today's game, the early struggles, again, like we said, it's coming off of Ohio State. You've got Michigan next week. This definitely was a little bit of a letdown spot. Yeah, I still think Penn State's definitely capable of clipping at least one of the Michigan schools. Even like Michigan State, you get that last game of the year now, and this is assuming they also lose to Ohio State. And by then, hell, for all anybody knows, Mel Tucker might be the head coach at LSU. Like, you could be getting a very just dejected Spartan squad coming into that one based off of everything that unfolds between now and then for Michigan State. But, I will say this week on a personal note, I think I had mentioned it on this show before, but my oldest son, his best friend who actually is currently at my house, is first cousins with Blake Corum. So this is his mom likes to give me some crap whenever Penn State loses in general. So it'll be a big week on the family feuds. And,
you want to bring him down here real quick for a scouting report, Marty? I'm kidding.
Yeah, I'll see what I can dig up for us. But no, it's so that's just a fun little thing that it's pretty cool to see. But I can speak that he does come from a great family, so it's great to see the kids succeeding. But no, I definitely think Penn State is capable of defeating those schools if they play to their capability. And I think that's one of the things that's so frustrating with Penn State this season is we've seen what they're capable of. And what they're capable of is truly being a top 10-ish team who can, as we saw last week, hang with just about anybody in the country. When they're not playing well, they're capable of looking like they've never picked up a football before in their entire lives. So, the rest of the schedule, I would like to think they dispatch of Rutgers pretty easily. I'm sure they'll come out and get Rutgers' best punch. They always do. But I'm sure they can take care of business there. And, obviously you want to try and get to 9-3 to give yourselves an opportunity to potentially sneak into the New Year's Six or finish the season with 10 wins with your bowl game. But I'm sure pretty much any Penn State fan out there would have told you after the Illinois debacle, hey, you know what, this team's still going to go 8-4 and beat at least one of the Michigan schools. Just about anybody would have taken that with how that team looked at that point and what was looming with Ohio State. So, if they can do that, I would definitely be happy. You can get to 8-4. Win your bowl game, put you at 9. All things considered, which you've always got to take into factor, everything that unfolds during the course of the season. If they can do that, I still think this can be at least a somewhat successful season. Maybe not what you're looking for, especially when they were 5-0 and appeared to be on the way to defeating Iowa. But with everything that transpired in the second half of the Iowa game and against Illinois, if you can still be in position to go get your 9th win in what would likely be a New Year's Day Bowl, you would definitely take that with when you consider where this team was at coming out of that Illinois game.
I just want to take a second to say hello to everyone who's tuning in, whether it's on the Penn State channel or the Big Ten channel. The risk of sounding like a gaming YouTuber, smash that like and subscribe button if you like what you're seeing and you aren't already subscribed to us. So blackshoediaries.com, that's where Marty and I both write, where Marty's working on his 3 takeaways right now as we speak. I'll have my position grades up sometime tomorrow. It typically goes up on Sundays. So we're also Black Shoe Diaries. We are more than just Penn State football. If you're a wrestling fan, I know the wrestling teams dominated the last decade. I never got into wrestling, so I can't appreciate it as much as our wrestling writers do, but they do a tremendous job. Hockey season is going on right now, and the basketball team tips off this coming Wednesday, the start of the Micah Shrewsbury era, which has many lifelong fans, like long-suffering, lifelong Penn State fans like themselves, excited for what lies ahead in the future. So, BlackStars.com year-round, we're covering Penn State athletics.
And hey, anyone who knows us will attest for Tim and I to be excited about the future of Penn State basketball. They're doing something right because, we the two of us, along with Ellie Moretta Feliz, who I know has been on the show a few times this season, the 3 of us kind of really spearhead the basketball coverage over there. And now Ellie is much more optimistic in general than we are. But for Tim and I to be excited about the future of Penn State basketball, things are going good. So like you said, make sure you check out Black Shoe Diary, especially if you are a hockey fan, because I feel like there probably is not a site on the internet who covers Penn State hockey better than Colin and the guys that we have over there do. So definitely make sure you get over there. If you are a Penn State hockey fan, check out what we have.
Yes, and actually, look at some comments here. Blow up a building.
That's a fitting name with his comment, I feel.
Yeah, I hope it's not the Twin Towers you got there, buddy. I'm personally a firm believer that Franklin's isn't a good fit for Penn State. Do you think that Franklin's preparation for Maryland was an issue in the first half? Marty, you want to take that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if a team starts, everything's always going to fall at the feet of coaching in any sport. And to me, the first half thing, Penn State's first 2 drives did not go well. They had negative yards. But I felt like the first half in general, what they schemed up worked decently well. There was poor execution on the players' end. I know, obviously, you still have to put some of the fault for that at the coaches. But if the players aren't executing, that's not all on coaching. The times I've been very critical of James Franklin, I think all Penn State fans have at times, because there's been a lot of questions with clock management. And like today, before halftime, I still don't understand the decision to not try and go down and get in field goal range here. Yeah, it was almost as if he didn't trust his offense. And I get the offense was struggling, but for the most part this year, when Sean Clifford's been in there, the offense has been awesome. Really, the only time they haven't been able to throw the passing offense, I should say, really, the only time all year they have not effectively thrown the ball with Sean Clifford, the quarterback, is against Illinois. And as we came to find out afterwards, he was far from 100% against Illinois. So you got to kind of give him a bit of a mulligan for that one. But, yeah, I didn't understand it. And with decisions like that, he's going to catch criticism. But I don't know. My biggest thing is with James Franklin is I really do wonder, has he potentially reached his ceiling here at Penn State? But then when you look at what his ceiling is here at Penn State, what they won 11 games, 3 out of 4 years or whatever it was, 3 New Year's Six bowls, winning 2 of them, a Big Ten championship. Is there anyone in the country who's going to have a higher ceiling than that at Penn State?